back in funky fresh 1994, there was a lot of things going on in popular culture in the United States. The Wu-Tang Clan was becoming quite popular, and with it, a revitalized interest in Kung Fu. And here we have a copy of Shaq-Fu by Electronic Arts for the Sega Genesis. This game was also released on the Super Nintendo system. Now, if you're not familiar with Shaq-Fu, it does have the dubious honor of being the worst video game of all time, at least according to some sources. So let's find out if that's true. Right off the bat, we're treated to a lot of credits. A lot of people trying to take credit for Shaq-Fu. I don't know why. And we have some interesting music. I'm not sure if it's actually sampled from the actual Shaq-Fu album, which came out about the same time as this game. And if you'll notice, there's more than one Pepsi logo in the background of these story scenes. God knows what Pepsi paid to be in this piece of shit, but I bet you it was too much, whatever it was. Anyhow, you're looking at the story mode, and the story is absolutely absurd. I mean, it's Shaq keeps saying he has to go to this charity basketball thing, but there's this old man in a kung fu dojo who needs his help to find some boy or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, everybody has really stupid names, and the plot makes absolutely no sense. And the cutscenes really do drag on. I mean, I say cutscene, but they're not really cutscenes. They're just still life graphical renditions of a scenery with some text annotations. Anyhow, now the action finally begins, and you get to control something. And you control that little teeny tiny Shaquille O'Neal running around. Once you get to a particular area that has text pop up underneath it, you hit one of your buttons on the controller, and you zoom down to another little cutscene and a battle scene. The fighting style should look very familiar. It was a very popular style in the early 90s. It's a player versus player, 2D side view fighting game, a la Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and countless others. Now, aside from the ridiculous story of Shaq-Fu that makes absolutely no sense, let's talk about some other features in this game here. Now, Shaq-Fu utilizes the Genesis 6-button controller, which came out later, and it wasn't standard fare with the actual Genesis. You had to go buy the 6-button controller separately. And I don't have a 6-button controller anymore. But the game makers kind of thought ahead with that and thought maybe not everybody has a 6-button controller. So they left an option to toggle, if you have a 3-button controller, to toggle back and forth. So you use the 3 buttons, A, B, and C, as one function, and then you hit your start button, and they form the X, and they work as the X, Y, Z buttons, which really blows. It's really difficult to constantly switch back and forth. And they designed the button layout in such a way that you only really use the C button. The A button really didn't do anything. It's supposed to make you move faster or taunt your opponent. And the B button had, it's supposed to be a less powerful, faster attack, but it just didn't work. I mean, and the button works on the controller, it just didn't work in the game. So you only really use the C button. So you use the C button to kick, or you hit start, and then you use the C button to punch. So that's such a bad design, I can't even begin to fathom what they were thinking with that. There is an options menu in the start screen, which allows you to configure your buttons, but they only let you configure the differences between A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z. They don't let you switch in mix and match and things like that, so you can't move your punch and kick to B and C. Whatever the layout is for A, B, and C, it translates to X, Y, and Z also in the same function. So that is just the stupidest idea I've ever heard of for options. So aside from having a really bad button layout for controls, Shaq-Fu has a lot of other annoying features, like you'll see the screen shaking sporadically here and there in a fight sequence, and that's by design. I thought it was actually a technical error with my setup, but that's after doing a little examination, I found that that's by design of the game. Whenever a player hits the ground really hard or does some kind of powerful move into the ground, the whole screen shakes in an attempt to like suck you into the gameplay a little more. But it's just really annoying because it happens every so often. And you'll see other weird graphical effects, like when this sword guy pulls his sword out, he can do this move where it flashes this like giant white light and it's like blinds you and it's a little distracting here and there. But just about every character can do a move like that where it flashes this white light at the screen. Now this type of game, this 2D side view fighting game, was extremely popular in the early 90s, like I mentioned earlier. And whenever you have a game or a genre that's extremely popular, inevitably you see inferior products in the market and attempt to cash in on that popularity. And gamers at the time knew this. They were very astute at things like this. And many people, even when Shaq came out before they even saw it or played it, knew it was going to be bullshit. They knew it was going to be just garbage. And this game was packed with a free CD single of one of the songs off of Shaq's album that came out at the same time. So that was also another tip-off that it was going to be a garbage game. So consequently, it didn't sell very well right from the get-go. And consequently, I'm pretty sure that the Shaq-Fu album was a flop also. The dialogue is just ridiculous. It gets me every time. Now let's talk a little bit about the actual gameplay, and it's standard fare for these 2D side point of view fighters. Except a few notable things. There aren't a whole lot of moves that Shaq can do. I've tried all different kinds of combinations, and none of the classic combinations that you use in a fighting game seem to work. And there's a red bar underneath your yellow energy bar, which I assume is for some kind of special moves or something, but I couldn't figure out how to do any, but I seem to never have anything in my red bar. Actually, as I'm watching this review, it looks like the more you get hit, the more that red bar fills up. So I don't know what that even does. I see that if it fills up all the way, you get really mad and it flashes fury. I guess you could do some special moves if you're all furied up or something, but I don't know what they are. I couldn't figure out how to do any. This game suffered from atrocious hit detection. You had to hit the person like dead center in their body to register a hit. So that meant you had to be like right on top of them, and you could only really do that effectively with your kick. Your punching you had too short of a range for your punch to be effective at all. The short of it is that Shaq-Fu is an atrocious game, but the worst game ever? I wouldn't say that. I've played some worse games, I'm pretty sure. Probably on the Atari 2600. But yeah, definitely not the worst game ever, but pretty darn bad. I'm Dommy from Classic Games Revisited. Until next time.